time, 2:08. We are making our way through a busy broadcast day. In just a few moments, oh, nope, I'm sorry, the light is flashing, so I can go to that. Couldn't see my own phone light there. Joining me now is Veronica Sites. Veronica specializes in conflict resolution and communication and has worked on victim relief ministries and other sort of big situations. And we've invited her on today because when something like this happens, what do you do? How do you talk to your kids? Veronica, thanks for making time today.
Thank you.
What should parents do specifically for kids that are old enough to sort of hear about this stuff at school or other places, kids that may be aware of the news, maybe teenagers? Let's start with that. How do you approach this subject with your kids?
It's a fantastic opportunity for parents, whatever the family structure is, to make sure that they are letting the kids know that they can depend on the parents, that they can provide a safe environment, that they can keep and establish as normal a safe and secure environment for them, because children at any age are really questioning how secure and safe are they.
That was kind of a conversation that came up on the show. We did a special show yesterday afternoon, late afternoon. And one of the questions that I had, and it was one of those bigger questions, how do you have a conversation with your kids about, you're dropping your teenagers off at the mall. And unfortunately, I think that it's not ridiculous to be concerned that something might happen at a mall someday. The potential exists. How do you have a conversation with your teenagers about being aware of their surroundings, maybe having kind of an idea of where the exit is, kind of being aware without scaring the crap out of them?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that we can share with them, and it's very important as well, that, I'm your parent, and it is my role to make sure that I give you the tools to be safe when I'm not there. So just be aware. Be aware of the exits. Have a plan. You do this in school, so I'm not asking you to do anything unreasonable. Just be aware of where the exits are.
Okay, so really just kind of keep the do you make it into a bigger discussion about why we have to worry about this, or do you just kind of keep it in the pragmatic aspect of there are bad people out there, some might try and do something, so be aware of your surroundings and know how to get out? Is it just, do you keep it simple?
The simplicity of it is just making a distinction between reaction and responding. Every child has looked at some point or another to some form of a responder as a hero, whether it's somebody in military, law enforcement, a firefighter, EMT. Responders plan, prepare, and they have a result that they move towards. So just having that conversation and saying, here's the thing. I want you to be prepared and have a plan, because if something unexpected happens, we're very likely to go to reaction mode, and emotions are full on reactionary mode. Emotions make bad choices. This is why I ask you to be aware of where the exits are. Know your surroundings. Pay attention, and think about which door am I going to take if I need to take one out quickly.
So what do you do if you have a child who expresses significant fear? Maybe your child develops a fear of going to the mall. Maybe your child develops a fear of going anywhere because they're afraid of what's going to happen when they get there. How do you manage that?
Well, fear is a very strong emotion, and it's not even just emotion. It's really false evidence. They're playing these things over in their minds. What could happen? Or depending on exposure and overexposure to media, this is embedding. It's mind mapping into their neurological DNA a pattern in their mind. So the more they think about it, the more they see it, the more they're exposed to it, it sets in the mind the thoughts that will replay in a certain situation. They don't want to be away from parents. The thing to do really is to reassure them, that what they can do to be safe. Be, as a parent, be where you say you're going to be when you say you're going to be there, because anytime something like this happens, the slightest delay of arrival can increase the level of anxiety in a child and anyone else for that matter.
It sounds to me, and correct me if I've read something in here that was not there, that maybe you're suggesting that we maybe limit access to, we don't need to have a 24-hour news cycle on in our house for kids to constantly be beat over the head with it. I mean, I'll tell you the truth. I watch almost no news in my house, but only for my own sanity. I cultivate my own news online, where I am controlling the access to that news. Do we need to maybe say, okay, turn off the 24-hour news while the kids are home? They don't need to be beat over the head with it?
Absolutely. The more exposure there is to it, the more there is a disconnect. If you are telling your child that it's safe, this is a safe place, we're going to be okay, I'm not worried about it, and yet they go to play in the room or they go off to read, watch a television show, and they come back in, you've got the news on, you're watching it, and that's a disconnect in behavior. They are going to resonate with the behavior that is communicated versus the words that were communicated.
Okay. So essentially, it's okay to protect your kids, but also have those conversations about what to do. And I guess that would be a little bit empowering in a way, especially if a child is afraid, so they feel like they have a plan.
It's very empowering. I have a daughter, and this is one of the things, I just throw this out there. She used to ask me scenarios. Mom, if there was a fire and a tornado, would I run out of the house or would I run in? And I began to realize she asked that question because she was thinking of a plan and a preparation because of what she knows I do. I'm a responder. I've planned, I've prepared, and I facilitate guiding people through the really rough places of life because ultimately everybody wants to feel safe and secured and reassured that things are stable.
Yeah. Well, here's hoping that they get stable. And I very much appreciate, Veronica Sites, your visit with us today. Thank you for making time.
Thank you.
No problem. Have a great day.